everybody.
Morning.
Welcome to class. How's everybody doing? Fine. So today we'll be talking about language.
Hello? Is this on my class?
Yeah, she is.
Is this on my class?
Yes, this is English class. Welcome to English class. You can have a seat.
Huh?
You can sit down.
You can't understand English, you say have a seat.
So today we're talking about language, and our language affects people and our environment, seeing that we're living in T.I.C.C.C Island. So we were talking about what do you think language is? What do you think language is?
Language?
Yes, what do you think it is?
Language?
Language.
Language?
Alright, we'll come back to her. What are your views on language?
Personally, I think language is education matters because we have to be able to communicate with each other, but only if we want to.
Mr. Qua.
It's the 12.
The Quell. What do you have to say about language?
Well, so in the business world, for language, there's like the employee should know different languages that the island have, so they can supply all the other customers. Because if a customer comes inside the store, they don't know how to speak English, they won't buy anything from the store.
Yeah, the difference. Tourism is our main sector. I mean, source of income. So if tourists come in and they don't speak English, it would be better for us as people to know more than one language, to be bilingual. And so therefore we gave the accommodation or the choice and everyone would feel, yeah, comfortable.
But why do we have to do that? You're coming to our country. You're coming to our country. We speak English.
But everyone still has to be accommodated. Without tourists, we wouldn't be able to get the necessary money that the country needs. What do you have to say about language? English. Language.
English and the Lopital. Lopital?
Yes.
You know what Lopital?
No.
Lopital?
Can you explain to the class what that is?
They give you the thing.
Oh, hospital.
Yes,
Yes.
hospital.
Yes.
When you go to the hospital, I don't speak in English. I go to the doctor asks me, what happened? What happened to me? I know what happened to me. I don't speak English.
How does that make you feel?
I feel bad. The doctor don't know what's wrong with me. I talk to the doctor says, stupid.
So how do you think language impacts health? Can anybody answer how do you think language impacts health?
You know to understand the doctor. You know understand the doctor when he talks to you. Give you medication you drink for. They tell you drink food you drink for.
Oh, wow.
Anyone can elaborate? That's okay, we move on from there. Culture and language also work together. Language shapes the community. It reflects the different habitats, foods, preoccupations, methods of government, relationships, etc. Language captures childhood memories, experiences that bring the community together. So we all need language to come together. The T.I.C.C.C Island has become a melting pot with persons from all across the world. The diversity of many nationalities living within the 193 square miles of each other not only makes us yearn to learn or to be a part of the multicultural experiences, but also allows us to explore the possibility of learning other languages. Now here in the T.I.C.C.C Islands, you are looked upon and you're given more opportunities and called upon for a job when you're able to speak more than one language. So you are more able to get a job if you speak more than English than the person that just speaks fluent English, because you're able to move around in your
been nicer to that girl there because they're not learning to speak English. But we should be one. Coming to the country, we should be able to shut up. That girl has the responsibility. Like, it's not her responsibility to learn English. We have to be able to connect.
Do you feel more comfortable with the students seeing that you learned a little bit today, even if it's not a lot?
No.
Do you think you'll be able to socialize?
No.
Why not?
I don't know English.
Well, we're all here to help you because each one can teach one. Okay? See you next time. So this is Group A, and we were presenting on language and how language affects the Turks and Caicos Islands and the different aspects. Seeing she did tourism, she was with health. How important is tourism, health, and business?
And we also showed you how people discriminate against languages like I did. When the girl, Darlene, came inside the class, I acted rude, I acted disrespectful because she couldn't understand us. I was just mean.
Thank you all for listening to us. Thank you.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Good afternoon, sir. Can you say your name for the report and spell it? Have you recently gone by the name Slice and Hitman?
Yeah, they really called me Slice and the killers called me Hitman.
What school are you going to at this time?
T.I.C.C.
When does this school become a good name for Pato? Sorry, sir. When are you going to? Do you go to the
They
school?
was fighting each other and they got into some. Carter was handed himself against it, but then when he overpowered, he just shoot him in the head and fall to the ground.
All right.
And they had a rush to the hospital. Period.
Your Honor, we cannot even understand what this man is saying. His language and how he speaks is.
How you mean you cannot understand what I'm saying?
He doesn't speak in a manner for us to understand what he's saying.
How you mean you cannot understand what I'm saying? Tighten up, man.
Sir, he doesn't even have respect for the court.
Come with that, man.
Well, Your Honor, we agree with the lawyer saying it's very hard to understand, so we all came to an agreement that he cannot be used as a witness.
Okay, I have come to the decision that we can no longer use this witness. Court is adjourned until we have another witness. Court adjourned.
Basically, what we are focusing on is that statewide there are various attitudes towards the use of standard and non-standard English within various contexts and how you would go about addressing these attitudes. Now, standard English is basically the English spoken whenever in a proper situation, like if you're doing a debate, if you're sending letters, you advertise or something. It's not really the common thing among everybody, but it's just that the most powerful people use it, so they decide to say that's the standard. Non-standard English is various different dialects that we speak among peers, and you know, whenever in a situation, like a court situation, you have to speak as close to the standard as possible. So me as the witness in that situation there, the jury could not really understand me. So they look at me as a person, they judge me differently from others, a person who would come there and speak normal standard English. There was a situation in a Trayvon Martin case in the USA. Trayvon got killed. The only witness was a girl that he was talking to on the phone with. And then when they was questioning her, she wasn't speaking the actual standard. So, I mean, jury and people like that criticized her, called her even an animal and different things, different hurtful things, just by the way she speaks. And people really judge us based on that. So, really and truly to correct that, people can, like, it can be taught in school. It's mandatory that it's taught in school.
Okay, that's it.
Good afternoon, everyone. Lovely ladies and gentlemen. Boy, I thought you was a great wise man, but yet you still stupid.
Well, actually, it's very difficult sometimes to read.
And you think you ain't get killed by these three drugs? What's up? What's up? All right, man, let's go.
Okay.
That got to be the best game I ever played. Who is it? Who is it? One question to start off. Hi, boy. What?
I am Reverend Hubbard. I am Reverend Wall. I was sent on a mission that the Almighty
What should we do? Boy, hey. God is killing me. God is killing me. Why you open the door? Man, there's somebody. You know the door? Bathroom now.
the grace of God has sent me here.
Got it. You got access to it.
Are you here?
This man just asked me if I'm used to it.
I don't know, like, you look like you use short shot. You ain't wasting money.
I can see that. You don't cry right now. I'm sorry, you're out of time.
That's God.
So, yeah.
You're supposed to walk out the close.
I decided to stay there.
Oh, okay. Alright, yo. You ain't your heart too long. What's going on?
You came here, you say you were sent here by the grace of God, the grace of God.
No, the grace of
explain how writing, context, and audience affect the variation of language use. And as you can see that us, Rev, Joker, and Shaq, as he is,
Shortly.
Shaq. We're supposed to show you how our language use affect how we present. So that's why we see all the slurs and slangs and all the misuse of treatment.
Afternoon, everyone. My group today will be doing question B, which says, explain how knowledge of language variations by Martin Drews can help you in your communication with different sets of people. Deshandre Dean with dance, Keandra Hall with the history of Turks and Caicos, Kyla Lightburn with language and nationalities, Roderick Williams with music, and Talicia Mizek with food, and myself, Ernie Hall, with the national dress.
Good afternoon. I'll be reading the history of the Turks and Caicos. The Turks and Caicos Islands is a group of 8 large islands and a few dozen smaller ones. Only 5 of the large islands and a few of the smaller ones are actually populated, and the rest are only inhabited by wild birds and lizards, plus a few wild cattle. The country is formed of 2 island groups, the Caicos Islands, which include Providenciales, East Caicos, West Caicos, North Caicos, South Caicos, and Lower Caicos. Of those, East and West Caicos are not inhabited. The Turks and Caicos Islands only include 2, Grand Turk and Little Saltine, both of which are settled. The capital of the Turks and Caicos is Cape Town on Grand Turk, an old colonial settlement on Grand Turk. The first known inhabitants of the Turks and Caicos were the Taínos, also known as the Lucayans. It's thought that the Taínos migrated to the islands from the south around the year 700 AD. Evidence suggests that life was simple for the Taínos. Hunting and fishing were probably the main sources of food, but limited planting also helped to sustain daily life. There is not enough evidence to be certain, but it's likely that several land animals such as giant iguana, large nocturnal rodents, land tortoises, and possibly a dwarf crocodile were native to the islands and were hunted to extinction by the Taínos. Structures were basic huts as well as caves were used for shelter during storms. Small artifacts, mainly broken pottery shards, have been the primary source of the information on those Aboriginal peoples. These items have been mainly found in caves and at refused sites in some of the Caicos wetlands. Currently housed at the Turks and Caicos National Museum in Grand Turk, the Taino DOC and canoe paddle are 2 of the most interesting artifacts found. The Taino populations were decimated after the arrival of Columbus due to Spanish slavery and disease. The last of the Tainos disappeared by the early 1500s. Some industries in Leticia include tourism, multicultural and fishing, and agriculture. Thank you.
I'll be reading on language and nationalities in the Turks and Caicos Islands. Anybody knows what is a nationality? Anybody? Somebody? A person's nationality is where they are a legal citizen, usually in the country where they were born. People from Turks and Caicos Islands have Turks Islanders nationality, and people from Jamaica have Jamaican nationality. People of the same nation usually share traditions and customs, and they might look a little alike too. Nationality is one of the many qualities that bring people together. What is the language? You guys know what is the language?
The method of human communication, either spoken or written, consisting of the use of words in a structured and conventional way. The system of communication used by a particular community or a country. There are many different languages spoken here on the island. The Turks and Caicos Islands is a multicultural environment, and being so, we have a variety of languages spoken here. We have Dominicans who speak Spanish, Jamaicans who speak English or Patois, Haitians that speak Creole or French, Indians that speak Hindi, and Turk Islanders that speak English or broken English. Language is the main factor leading and affecting communication. If it's interpreted correctly, effective communication can take place. If not, there will be a barrier in communication which may be realized by everyone at the time. When the expected action from communication fails to take place, it means that communication was not effective. To create effective communication with others, your language must be understandable to those whom you address. To realize that you should adhere by the following. Most words have more than one meaning and sometimes several meanings, so you should ensure that the receiver understands the words meaning you want. Many groups of people use common words in a special way in their technical or professional environment. When you communicate with them, try to use words the same way they use them. Different social groups have also developed their own vocabulary using common words to do something different. So you should care about the social context of whom you communicate with. Most of us employ smaller vocabulary in speaking and writing that is actually understood. So you shouldn't use uncommon words or uncommon meanings for certain words. In general, effective communication involves actions, reactions, and interactions. All these depend on the flow of information, questions, and answers passing to and from the participants, and all the while there must be understanding. One of the most frequent causes of misunderstanding is that related to the meaning of words. Thank you.
Afternoon again, everyone. Can anybody tell me what is a national dress?
That's yours, It's a dress. It's a dress that seems to a certain culture or nationality.
National dress. A folk's costume expresses an identity through costume, which is usually associated with the geographic area or period of time in history. It can also indicate social, marital, or religious status. Such costumes often come in two forms, one for everyday occasions and others for festival or formal wear. The Turks and Caicos Islands national dress. The female white cotton dress reflects on our humble past as farmers and plantation workers. The male shirts and pants reflect on our historic past as salt rakers and fishermen. The straw hats were made from the silver palm top leaves that grow all over the Caicos Islands and are used by everyone as protection from the heat of the sun. To identify a person's island home, look at the color of the woman's scarf and wrist sash, and the man band on his hat. This solid color represents the one of the islands where they were born, or anyone can choose to display their national pride and love for the Turks and Caicos Islands. The order of colors as we move from east to west, sunrise to sunset. The national dress or costume was unveiled during the Queen Jubilee 2002 and was designed by the former Director of Culture, Mr. David Bowen, based on an idea put forward from the Cultural Information Officer, Ms. Valerie Janet. Color meaning of the dress are as follows. Yellow, God's glory as the sun shines down on all 40 islands and keys. Red, Grand Turk, the capital. The color represents the Turk's head cactus, our national plant and namesake. White, South Key. The color white represents South and South industry of the Turks and Caicos Islands. Orange. South Caicos and East Caicos. The color orange represents the Caicos lobster and our fishing industry. Tan. Middle Caicos. The color tan represents farmers and their straw crawlers. Green. North Caicos and Perry Key. The color green represents the vegetation and fertile islands and plantation. Turquoise represents Providenciales and West Caicos. Turquoise represents our beautiful oceans and our newest industry, tourism. Pink, the remaining islands and keys. Pink represents the conch shell and the flamingos. Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon, and I'll be talking about the food of the Turks and Caicos. Okay, now the food of the Turks and Caicos Islands are known well for the host of the local cuisine. One of the most important interesting factors is that even though we are a group of very small islands, almost every island consists of its very own food. Okay, the beautiful island of Salkey is known for the Salkey candy. The ingredients are the sugar-coated mint flavor, the hard candy that can also be did by the mint. The beautiful island of Grand Turk is known for the full-time savory meals, which consists of a heavy, complete dish, which includes the balsa rice and the fried fish. The North and Middle Caicos are also known for the public crab and rice. The open rice, the pecan rice, and the balsa rice. Thank you.
Good afternoon. The legendary Bob Marley once said, when it hits you, you feel no pain. An idea or way of life that we live by, that's culture. And culture affects us all, no matter where we're from. We often live and work in different cultures, and we don't even realize it. Music is a huge factor in the way we are affected by our culture. Hence the fact, music is in all cultures, even in our own way of life. Think about the last time you said something sweet or cool to your girlfriend or boyfriend. You probably heard that in a love song or a rap song. In the Turks and Caicos, there are so many people here from different countries with different cultures. The Trinidadians and other West Indian countries bring the love of calypso. Calypso is a style of Afro-Caribbean music that originated in Trinidad and Tobago. During the early to mid-20th century and spread to the rest of the Caribbean, Antilles, and Venezuela. Its rhythm can be traced back to the West African queso and the arrival of French planters and their slaves from the French Antilles in the 1800th century. Soca is known as the soul of calypso. It was also originated in Trinidad and Tobago in the late 1970s and developed in a range of styles in the 1980s and later. Soca developed as an offshore of queso and calypso, which influences from cadence, funk, or soul. The Haitian community brings to us the love of their music, also known as compa or compas. Compas is an original Haitian music invented by a saxophonist, Numerous Jean-Baptiste. As with zouk, compa is derived from the Dominican merengue and also close to calypso. Compas is the main music of many countries such as Dominica and French Antilles, etc. Whether it is called zouk, the French Antilles artists of merengue style is very influential in the Caribbean, Africa, Cape, Portugal, France, part of Canada, South and North America. Dominicans add a little spice to it with their music, which is bachata or reggaeton. Bachata is more of a romantic style of Spanish music originated in the Dominican Republic, and reggaeton is characterized by a fusion of Latin rhythms, dancehall, hip-hop, or rap. Reggaeton blends music influence of Jamaican dancehall and Trinidad soca with those of Puerto Rico. Dancehall and reggae are two popular genres of Jamaican music that was originated in Jamaica. Dancehall was a spritzer version of reggae that roots style. Reggae is a style of popular music which is strongly ascendant sub-Saharan beat. Reggae evolved in the late 1960s and other local variations of calypso and rhythm and blues, and become widely known in the 1970s through the work of Bob Marley. It's mostly influenced by Rastafarian ideas. The Turks and Caicos Island and the Bahamas share the same genre styles of music called ripsaw or raging straight, or what we like to call it bush music. Ripsaw was originated in the Turks and Caicos, specifically in North and Middle Caicos. Its most distinctive characteristic is the use of the common hand saw as the primary instrument. The saw can be played by scraping using screwdriver, ice pick, or an old knife objects against the teeth of the saw. The sound is similar to the sound of a paper being ripped, and is believed to be the origin of the teen ripsaw. Hip-hop and R&B are two popular music genres from the United States. The musical style incorporating rhythm or rhythmic speech that becomes the movement most lasting and influential art form. Rhythm and blues combines the element of rhythm of blues, soul, funk, pop, hip-hop, and dance. The lyrics focus heavily on the theme of the trumpets or failures and theme, relationships, freedom, aspirations, and sex. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Speak dance. Haitian dance. Dance is an important part of Haitian life. In case of voodoo, the religious experience of a spirit possesses is usually accompanied by dancing, singing, and drumming. Carnival and Rara celebrations feature dancing and movements in the streets. Dancing is also a social activity used for celebrations such as church socials, informal parties, as well as evenings out with friends. Social dance music has been one of the most heavily creolized music forms of Haiti. That's the end.
And that will be the end of our presentation.